How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack and welcome to my review of Nottingham Forest 0 Norwich City 2 that took place at the City ground today. Well, a little bit earlier on for me. So yeah, not the best really, was it? Norwich, obviously you can see why they're top of the league. They seem like a Premier League side who had got us in the cup, if I'm honest. They were quite, they got two early goals. One in the 9th minute, with Timmy Pukki, and one in the 13th minute with Kieran Dowell. Other than that, they didn't really need to do too much. They kept the ball really well. They had 720 passes compared to our 352. You know, it was men against boys in the first half for sure. Second half, we picked things up a bit. We looked to try a bit more. Graben had a glorious chance which he couldn't finish, and yeah, it wasn't Graben's night tonight, was it? I mean, my dad was absolutely fuming with him. You know, the way that he didn't really press and he looked really lazy and lethargic and just didn't look like he was very interested. And it's a shame. It's a shame to see, because last season he was probably one of the best seasons of his career. 20 goals in the Championship for us, and he was just so much better than he was this season. He's really lacked any sort of, I don't know, any sort of confidence or conviction in his play. You know, we saw him with Sabri. He'd get the ball and he would bring it forward, like you saw that goal at Swansea away last year where he just took it down the pitch and ran and slotted it across to Semedo, who made it 1-0, you know, right towards the end of the game. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was towards the end of the game. But yeah, this season he's just looked a shadow of his former self, and I'm not sure how many goals he scored this season, but I doubt it's more than 4. I think maybe I know he scored against Coventry. I don't know. I don't really know how many goals he's scored this season. I wonder if it will show me on here. I don't think it will. No, it won't. But, you know, it's not been a very good season for him at all, and today kind of typified that. You know, to be honest with you, you can take positives away from that game, that it wasn't any more than 2-0, but I think that was more down to Norwich's sort of conserving of energy, and you know, they didn't really need to attack very much more. I mean, they had 22 shots, to be honest with them, so they blew us out the water. They were far better. They had way more possession. They had way more shots on target. Their pass accuracy was better. Less fouls committed. They did get one more yellow card than us. They got one. We didn't get one at all. But yeah, you can see why they're top of the table and why they're destined for the Premier League this season. It was a difficult one to watch for Forest. You know, Mighton came off and looked good. He looked quite energetic, really, like he tried. Yates tried as well. I saw James Garner was getting really frustrated at points today. He made it was definitely a foul, but the referee allowed play to carry on, and then Graben, yeah, he had a glorious chance but couldn't do anything with it. You know, there were some players who didn't really have bad games. Like, I don't think Christie did too bad. I don't think you can really say any player played badly, but you can't really say any player played well. Jordan Smith made a really good save, a smart save. I think it was to deny McLean in the first half. You know, that was good from him. I hope Samba's all right. I think Jordan Smith had a good game today, but I wouldn't want to see him play many more games. I know Samba's much better than him, and he's been a really good servant for Forest, Jordan Smith. You know, when Gary Brazil was in charge in that game against Arsenal, he had a good game in that one. But when he had that game against Ipswich to keep us up, he had a fantastic game. Made a superb stop onto the crossbar in that one. But yeah, you got to say that Samba needs to get back in the side as quickly as possible. We need Worrell in the back of that defence more. I think he just gives you that bit of organisation, leadership that maybe we're lacking a little bit. I don't know. I think McKenna can offer that, but Graben. I don't know why I said Graben. Worrell knows it. He gets it. He gets what's going on at the club, and yeah, I think we need him back in the side. Yeah, in terms of in terms of the substitutions, I think he left him a little bit late. I think if it was down to me, I might have brought on Taylor 10 minutes earlier than he did. Around the hour mark instead of around the 70-minute mark. Probably the same with Myton. I think you give them 20 minutes and it might seem to be a decent amount of time, but maybe they need that little bit extra to sort of bed into the game. I would start them both. In this one, Myton gives you that bit of naivety. He's not afraid to make a mistake, but by actually going for it, you see some of the players who maybe with grabbing, like he tries a bit too much not to make a mistake, which leads to him making a mistake. It's like I noticed this when I used to do, well, I still do driving lessons, but I haven't with COVID. Sometimes, like with my former instructor, if I made a mistake, I would feel like I'd be constantly thinking about it, and then I'd make more mistakes and more mistakes. Whereas my new instructor, I'm more relaxed. He makes me feel a bit more. It makes me feel a bit more calm, I suppose, after I make a mistake, which is something that you notice with some of the older players, like especially like Graben. He's been someone that has struggled after he made miss an open goal against Rotherham, and then it just sort of spirals and snowballs into more and more mistakes, and he loses confidence every time he tries something and it doesn't come off. And you see someone like Martin, someone who's not really worried about whether or not he'll lose his place or whether or not he will make a mistake. He's more worried about making an impact so he can get a prolonged period in the squad, in the side, which I think we kind of need more of. And if he starts up from the beginning, then that's something that you'll get for 90 minutes rather than just 20 minutes, 15 minutes towards the end of the game. And I think for Taylor, I think if he starts, he might get involved a bit more. I think when we bring him on either to try and hold on to a lead, he maybe isn't the best striker to do that. I think, we've noticed, like, especially against Derby, he was brought on to try and grab another goal, seal the game off, and he was just slowing things down and wasn't really being able to influence the game in the way that he wanted to. So if you're starting from the beginning, it'll give him longer to get his influence on the game. But yeah, I think not the best performance, but Norwich, you can't really complain. They are top of the league, unbeaten in the last 9 now, I think. 82 points, 10 points clear of Watford in second. Yeah, they're as good as promoted for me, as good as promoted. But yeah, I think, I'm looking at the table now. We're 9 points away from Rotherham. They have 4 games in hand, however, which should they win all them, that will put them on. So let me do a quick little bit of maths here. 12 points more, that will put them on 42, so they'll be above us by 3 points. So, yeah, there are other teams within us, below us. There's Derby, Coventry, Birmingham as well. So I think we should be okay if we keep going, keep grinding games out. Our next 2 games are going to be difficult. We've got Brentford away and Cardiff away. They're not going to be the easiest of games. After that, QPR, Bristol City, Huddersfield, Bournemouth, Stoke, Sheffield Wednesday and Preston. So I expect out of those games to probably get 1, 2, 3, probably 3 wins, maybe 4 wins to see out the season, and I think we should be fine just coasting towards the end of the season. But we need to pick things up, and it's a real struggle to score goals. It's been the tale of our season. We've had long periods in this season where we've struggled to score goals. You look, when we last played Norwich, that was the first time we'd scored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in the league. We've had periods before that where we'd only been able to score 1 goal in a game. We had a period at the start of the season where we didn't score in 1, 2, 3 if you count 4 if you count the Barnsley game in the Cup at the start of the season. So, struggling to score has been a real problem for us this season, and I think, if we can sort that out, we might be high up the table, but that's something that we're going to have to look at next season, and something that this season is just we're going to have to live with, and hopefully we can stay up and go again. But yeah, I don't think it's all doom and gloom too much. People are saying that Forest players, they don't care, they just want the pay packet. But when you're playing against a team as quality as Norwich, you can't really expect too much. It'll be more than the games towards the end of the season where you look at us playing Sheffield Wednesday, you look at us playing Birmingham, Huddersfield, Preston, that you sort of look at and think these are the games that will show whether we're interested or not. But yeah, there's a good point made on iFollow. I think Steve Hodge said it, that we either draw or get wins against the teams around us, and then there's the teams above us, like sort of top end of the table that we struggle against. So as long as we're doing what we need to do against teams around us, we should be okay. But yeah, not the best, but it could have been a lot worse. Pardon me. So yeah, man of the match for Forest. It's very difficult to really give one. I think Jordan Smith had a good game despite conceding 2 goals. It's really difficult to really name a man of the match, if I'm honest with you. I might give it to Myton off the bench. Looked lively, tried, he pressed a bit, and yeah, I'll give it to Myton. Hopefully he can start in the next game. So yeah, that's all from me. If you did enjoy, smash the like button. Subscribe to Talk Forest TV, TFTV Extra, and Dan TFTV if you haven't already. And come on, you Reds, please.